They say hotels are never truly empty. After midnight, when the lobby grows still and the neon outside flickers, something else takes over the halls. In Nevada, there's a crumbling roadside hotel where travelers whisper about strange rules. Rules you must follow if you want to make it through the night alive. The first rule is simple: never take the room at the end of the hall. The second, if you hear knocking after 2 a.m., do not answer. And the third, most chilling of all, never, ever look into the cracked mirror in the lobby. You're driving late across the Nevada desert, exhaustion pressing heavy on your eyes. The highway stretches endlessly, empty of headlights. When you see a faded sign, vacancy, low rates, you almost pass it by, but your tank is low and your body aches. Against your better judgment, you pull in. The hotel looks abandoned, its neon sputtering. The clerk at the desk doesn't meet your eyes. His voice is flat, as though rehearsed. "One room left," he says, sliding you a key. The metal tag is scratched, the number faded. You feel a chill, though the air is still. As you climb the stairs, the hallways seem too long. Doors unevenly spaced, carpets gig with dust. You pass a cracked mirror leaning against the wall. For a moment, you swear your reflection moves just a fraction slower than you do. You force yourself to keep walking. Your room is ordinary. Bed, desk, television that doesn't work. But taped to the inside of the door is a sheet of paper. The heading reads, "Guest Rules." Your hands tremble as you read. Do not request room 6 at the end of the hall. If you hear footsteps in the hallway after 2 a.m., remain silent. Do not look directly into the mirror in the lobby. If the phone rings 3 times, do not pick up. Check out before sunrise. You laugh nervously. It has to be a prank. But then the air shifts. From the corner of your eye, you see the doorknob twitch. A soft tap-tap begins, too deliberate to be the building settling. You freeze. You remember Rule 2. The knocking grows louder. 3 times. Then silence. You wait. Minutes stretch. At last, you lie back on the bed, heart pounding. But just as your eyes close, the phone begins to ring. Once, twice, thrice. The sound drills into your skull. You reach out and stop, trembling. The paper's words blaze in your mind. On the 3rd ring, the phone falls silent. And in the silence, you hear it. Faint breathing just beyond the door. The hours drag, each second louder than the last. You don't dare move. Outside your door, something paces slowly, back and forth, carpet groaning under its weight. At times it stops. You can almost feel it pressing its face to the wood, waiting. You whisper to yourself, it's just nerves, just desert silence. But then, the knob begins to turn. You lunge forward, holding it tight. The pressure on the other side is cold, inhuman. You hold your breath until the force eases. When you release your grip, the hallway is silent again. That's when the television sputters to life. Static fills the room, white snow and low hissing. Then, through the static, words whisper, "Don't look in the mirror." The screen snaps black. You tear open the curtains. Outside, the parking lot is empty, but reflected faintly in the glass is the lobby below and the cracked mirror leaning crooked on the wall. For a heartbeat, you see someone standing in it, tall, with hollow sockets where eyes should be. When you turn, the reflection is gone. It feels like hours before dawn finally begins to bleed faint gray light through the curtains. You stuff your things into your bag and stumble down the stairs. The lobby is deserted. No clerk, no sound, only that cracked mirror gleaming faintly. You force yourself not to look. You press the key to the deck and rush outside. The desert air feels alive, sharp in your lungs. You climb into your car and glance back just once. In the window of room 6 at the end of the hall, someone is watching. But you aren't the only one with this story. Truckers passing through the desert tell of the same hotel. A man named Robert, who stayed in 1998, swore he checked into room 4. At 2:15 a.m., he heard a woman sobbing outside his door. He opened it and found the hallway stretching far longer than before, lights buzzing, doors endless. The sobbing never stopped. He slammed the door and stayed awake until sunrise. Another traveler, a young couple driving from Reno, said they never even made it to their room. In the lobby, they paused before the cracked mirror. The woman laughed nervously, saying she saw her reflection blink out of sync. Moments later, the clerk appeared, furious, insisting they leave. When they asked why, he whispered, "You've already seen it. And there are darker stories." A cleaner who worked night shifts admitted she quit after a single week. Each morning, she found wet footprints on the carpet of room 6, even though it hadn't been booked in years. Locals whisper that the hotel was built on land where a mining camp once burned, trapping workers underground. Some say the mirror was salvaged from the ruins of an old funeral home. Others claim the rules were written by a guest who never made it out, desperate to warn the next traveler. The strangest detail? No one agrees on where the hotel stands. Maps show only abandoned lots and forgotten roads. Yet somehow drivers find it when they're most exhausted, when turning away feels impossible. And always, the same rules. Theories about the hotel spread like wildfire across Nevada ghost forums. Paranormal investigators argue it isn't a hotel at all, but a trap, a place that appears only to those on the edge of exhaustion, feeding on weakness. Some compare it to folklore of wayward inns, buildings that drift between worlds, luring the lost inside. Skeptics dismiss it as mass hysteria. They suggest sleep deprivation can trigger hallucinations. Long desert drives, caffeine jitters, the hum of tires, it all creates visions that feel real. A cracked mirror is simply damaged glass. Strange rules? Nothing more than pranks taped up by bored clerks. But those who've experienced it swear otherwise. Their stories share too many uncanny details. The breathing at the door, the ringing phone, the figure in the mirror. Too precise to be coincidence, too chilling to ignore. One theory claims the mirror is the anchor. Objects can hold energy, especially if tied to tragedy. Some believe the mirror doesn't reflect reality. It reveals what watches from the other side. Break the rules, and you invite it closer. Another theory ties it to Nevada's mining past. The land is riddled with abandoned shafts, caves where men suffocated in darkness. Locals say the spirits never left. They found a way to reach back through rules that bind the living. Follow them, and you might survive the night. Break them, and you become another whisper in the hallway. And then there are those who insist it's not a haunting at all. Instead, they describe the hotel as a living thing. The rules aren't warnings. They're instructions, meant to feed it slowly, to keep you from panicking until it decides whether to let you go. But here's the most terrifying twist. Sometimes, people don't check out. Friends waiting in the lobby swear their companion never came downstairs. The clerk shrugs, records erased. Their cars remain in the lot, dust settling on the hoods. Room 6's curtains flutter gently, though no one admits to staying there. No one knows what happens if you look directly into the mirror. Some believe you vanish, pulled inside. Others think you see your death. A few say the mirror shows your true self, but stripped of flesh, a hollow husk. To this day, the hotel resurfaces. Travelers on desolate roads describe the same neon sign, the same monotone clerk. And when dawn breaks, they're miles from where they parked, the hotel nowhere to be found. Would you dare to pull over, knowing the rules? Would you risk a night where silence is the only thing standing between you and whatever waits in the hall? This was the legend of Nevada's haunted hotel, where survival depends on obedience. So the next time you're driving through the desert and a flickering sign reads vacancy, remember, don't take the room at the end of the hall. Don't answer the knock. Don't pick up the phone. And above all, don't look into the mirror. Because if you do, you may never check out. If you enjoyed this journey into America's darkest legends, like the video, subscribe, and join us as we uncover more terrifying rules and haunted places across all 50 states. And tell me, would you dare to spend the night in Nevada's haunted hotel?